Do you know? The price of $1 billion in 1967? Not a signature. Not a formal document. But it was the sweat of Thai youth, falling onto a piece of land they never called home. That was not aid. That was a contract written in blood. Tap 1. Look at the boots of the king's cobras, queen's cobras. As they stepped onto Long Tan, the leather was new. The soles were stiff. M16 rifles were gleaming. They were taught, American money will turn you into heroes. But what awaited them was not glory, but the smell of rubber, the smell of mud, and the silent stares from nameless groves. In Bangkok, politicians raised champagne glasses, celebrating an opportunity to modernize the country. But in Phước Lai, a farmer named Min stood in the middle of the road. On one side, M41 tanks. On the other, bare feet gripping the earth. The system called it pacification. History calls it by its real name: infiltration by money. They shot Mr. Min, and they kept shooting when his body already lay still. The one with the most weapons is always the one most afraid, because they know this land does not belong to them. I am not here to condemn the Thai soldier. They too are the sons of a mother. But history needs to be stated clearly. Bombs and bullets can be bought with dollars. Humanity cannot. Video. After, I will tell you about 28 people who turned a high-paying vacation into 30 minutes of hell. Tap 2. November 1967. The sky over Nan Track was not sunny. Only thick, custard yellow clouds, dense. A Thai officer smoothed his pristine uniform, stepped onto an M41 tank. He didn't know it was the last time it would ever be clean. In the thickets of Phuoc, though, 28 people lay silent. Fingernails black with soil, shoulders calloused from the plow. They had no helicopters, no reinforcements, only homemade DH-10 mines, and the memory of burned houses. Silence, so deep you could hear the heartbeat of the intruder. Thai soldiers entered the village, laughing, swaggering. 1 second before, the roar of iron tracks. 1 second after, a sea of fire. The M41 burned like a plastic toy. Super soldiers crawled through the rice paddies. Their blood was red. Our mud was black. In just 30 minutes, the arrogance of the mercenary was crushed by bare feet defending their land. 28 people facing a whole company. Where did they draw their strength from? From weapons? Or from the grave of Mr. Min, where the earth had not yet dried? They did not fight for a doctrine. They fought because their pigsties were burned, because their buffalo were shot, because Jose Hamlet deserved a peaceful night's sleep. Today, if you stand at the Thailand intersection, close your eyes. Between the sound of traffic, history is still breathing. But Phuoc, though, was only the prelude. The real nightmare for Thai soldiers is waiting for them at the plain of jars, Laos, where even stones know pain. Tap 3. Thailand withdrew from Vietnam with a wounded pride. They said, "We lost because the opponent didn't fight fair." In 1971, at the plain of jars, Laos, the Americans gave them what they wanted: a real battle. Artillery versus artillery. Tanks versus tanks. And that was the last time they ever believed in firepower. Winter in Laos. Bone-chilling cold. In The concrete bunkers at Phu Cang. Thai soldiers opened American beers, listened to rock music, watched B-52s tear apart the mountainsides. They believed that, with this firepower, not even an ant could crawl through. They did not know, at the foot of the pass, Vietnamese soldiers were using their bare shoulders to pull cannons up to places no one believed artillery could be placed. Secret. Absolute secrecy. 130mm cannons were pointing straight at the heart of the base. The commander, Major General Le Trong Tan, he did not look at the map like a soldier. He looked at it like a musical score, where each rhythm of the cannon was written to end an illusion. Thai soldiers had 155mm guns, playing cards while on duty. Our troops ate rice balls mixed with mud, but in their eyes was the fire of a vow never to retreat. When hearing reports that the enemy was numerous, General Tan only said one sentence, very softly. The more, the better. Not arrogance. It was a deep understanding of the opponent's fear. The plain of jars, where stones have stood for thousands of years in silence. But in 1971, the stones learned how to remember pain. Today, tourists take photos among old bomb craters. The grass has turned green. But arrogance can never grow back. Morning of December 18th, the sky was torn apart. And in that night of flight, a silent trap was laid out. Next episode, you will understand what it means to lose without even being able to fire back. Tap 4. Before the storm is always silence. The night at the Plain of Jars. The cannons stopped. No explosions. No signals. Thai soldiers thought that the opponent was exhausted. They did not know that silence was the command for a delayed fire. The retreat route was cut. The map became meaningless. Tanks got stuck in the mud. Infantry scattered. No one saw the opponent, only felt they were being squeezed. Not by bullets, but by terrain, time, and fear. A soldier fears only one thing: being hunted without knowing who is hunting them. Vietnamese artillery exploded exactly when the formation had just deployed. Not early, not late. Each barrage was like a cold answer. You are no longer in the game anymore. Not everyone was a coward, but as a mercenary, you never understand what you are dying for. One side fighting for a paycheck. One side fighting so their children could live. When the purpose is different, the outcome is already written. That night, the Plain of Jars was no longer a battlefield. It became a warning that the strongest fortification is not concrete, but it is organized will. But history does not end with a victory. It ends with a question left for posterity. How much must a nation pay to never have to sign another contract in blood? Final episode is the answer. Tap 5. The war ended, but there are things that never fire a shot, yet decide the fate of a nation. Not cannons, not bombs, but the signatures, placed in air-conditioned rooms, thousands of miles away from the trenches. After the Plain of Jars, Thai soldiers withdrew in silence. No parades, no triumphal songs, only sealed reports, casualty figures that were never read on television. Bangkok returned to the old pace of life. Washington looked for another front, but Indochina stayed with scorched earth, graves, and memories that could not be exported. History often asks, who won, who lost? But the right question should be, who did not sell themselves? No amount of aid can buy a nation willing to go hungry, to not bow their heads. No military doctrine can defeat the people who consider soil as blood, and blood as a vow. Those Thai soldiers that year were not born to be enemies of Vietnam. They were pushed into a game where their value was defined by dollars per month. When the war ended, no one built statues for them. Only scars remained, and the belated question, what did I fight for? Today, the world no longer fights with tanks. But the contracts in blood still exist. They carry different names: investment, aid, protection, development. And the old question comes back to the new generation. Right finger, do you stand on your own 2 feet? Or do you stand in the safety zone drawn by others? History does not require us to be hateful. History only requires one thing: don't forget the price of dependency. Those who fell don't need us to cry for them. They need us to live worthily for the fact that they refused to sign the contract that sold the soul of the nation. 2. When someone asks, where does peace come from? You know the answer. Right finger, from those who chose not to kneel. This series was made only to retell the historical truth and remind that freedom has never been free. Video. After the spectacular trick and the collapse of Thai troops at the Plain of Jars,